You know what doesn't make me mad?
The fact that AMD is doing amazing stuff?
Yeah, 13% IPC gains don't make me mad if that's true.
Not at all. So take this with a grain of salt, guys. This report was from... so WCCF Tech reported it, but it was Bits and Chips is the original place that tweeted about this. But it looks like, rumor has it, Zen 2, not Zen Plus, not Ryzen 2. This would be Ryzen 3, Zen 2 architecture, right? Is going to have up to a 13% IPC improvement. So... from what the report said is like somewhere between 10 and 15%, basically, depending on application. Now, that's a huge deal. I don't think people are understanding, if that's true, how big of a deal that is, because Zen Plus was already 3% over Zen. This is 13% over Zen Plus. And Zen Plus is very close in terms of IPC to Intel. Some reviewers going as far to call it near identical. And of course, you do have the clock speed advantages that Intel still has. But a 13% IPC improvement, along with clock speeds hitting, rumor has it, 4.5 gigahertz in the lab. That right there, which means maybe we could even see 4.6 stable on some situations. Maybe 4.7, although I'm not going to cross my fingers on that one. But if you're looking at like 4.6 gigahertz plus 13% IPC, so let's say we're looking at like 10% IPC over Intel. That would put... This means this could potentially be putting AMD... in a position where they're not only the better for your wallet option and the best option, period, faster. And that means Intel needs to get their 10 nanometer on track, because if Intel doesn't, this looks like their 7 nanometer from Zen 2 might surpass Intel. And then at that point, why would you buy Intel? You spend less money, you get better IPC, you get better efficiency, you get soldered IHSs across the board.
You get longer-term support.
Longer-term support. You get more PCIe lanes and more expansion. And you also get the option on things like Threadripper and Epic to get more cores and more cores per socket,
Pretty much the only thing you don't get, and this would have happened, but I almost have a feeling it's not going to, is Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt, yeah, there you go.
Because Intel said they were going to do that this year, and then they didn't.
Yeah.
And it's October, and I know people that work at Intel, and they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, fun stuff. So, yeah, this could be amazing. I really, really, really hope that 13% is true, because that's going to be what really pushes AMD against Intel hard. It is, like, why would you? The one reason to still buy Intel of better single-core performance, especially because you can overclock them so high, would be negated.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Kind of insane. And in more beautiful AMD news, this one is, take it with less of a grain of salt. This is according to Fudzilla, who's usually pretty good, and Hexus reported about it too. AMD has 7 nanometer Navi in lab testing currently, according to these rumors here. And so they're performing better than expected. Not exactly sure what that means. But so what it looks like, though, is kind of unfortunately, but also kind of good for AMD, is Navi's going to be, in theory, a mid-range part to replace Polaris, right? And so rumor has it we could see, again, rumor has it, GTX 1080 level performance for around $250. What? That would be amazing. That's the kind of area where there's a lot of enthusiasts are like, well, we need to see AMD get on the top end in terms of GPUs. And I always disagree with them, because, like, yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah.
I would love to buy 2 top-end AMD cards and put them in Crossfire, but that's not what the generic consumer needs. And if you want what's best for competition in the market, which I feel like right now is even worse with NVIDIA via AMD versus Intel via AMD, if you really want the competition back, the mid-range is where it's at. And if people can get that kind of performance for $250, unless you're looking for top-end rig, there's no point in going with anything from NVIDIA.
Yeah.
There just isn't. I'm sorry, but why would you go with a 1060?
Yeah. $250 would get you 1080 performance and FreeSync.
There you go. So you're already saving another at least $100 on the monitor if you're going to an insane level monitor between $200 and $500.
Yeah.
And then even better is, like, even a 1070, right? So let's say you get a top-notch Navi card with top-notch extra cooler, so you're looking at like $350. That's about where a 1070 sits. This is still beating it in performance.
Yeah.
This, unless NVIDIA makes a move before this, because unfortunately the rumor is this is launching in Q3 next year instead of we were hoping Q1, like after CES. So maybe NVIDIA has enough time to respond with something on the 7nm node that would beat this, right? Because what this looks like is the 7nm is what's giving AMD such a big jump, right?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like with both of these scenarios here, CPU and GPU. And so kind of interesting. Now, another thing to note is these are not multi-chip modules. These are monolithic dies. So they're single GPUs, something that both NVIDIA and AMD have talked about in terms of GPU, because AMD has already implemented this on the CPU end as a multi-chip module. That's what Threadripper and Epic is you have multiple physical dies that have an interconnect that's really, really fast. And that's something that they've talked about doing, and maybe NVIDIA is going to do with maybe like their 30 series on 7nm. Who knows? But this apparently isn't going to be that, although I wouldn't expect an MCM setup for $250.
Yeah.
Now, who knows, though? Maybe they will do that on a high-end card. They'll take two of these and put that in an MCM layout for $600 or something like that.
There's been those rumors of the 590. Have they been actually, like, any rumors of what the specs would be?
No, there has not been a lot, but that does remind me that I want to really complain about AMD as well right now.
Because, well, what I was going to say is, what if that ended up being two Polaris chips with
like MCM?
Infinity Fabric in between as a way to test it before they went...
Okay, that could be really,
That would
really,
be
really,
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
That could be amazing. So I will say, though, I want to complain about AMD for a minute, too. Did you hear about the whole RX 580 fiasco? Oh, so they released another RX 580. Okay, no, you're gonna
NVIDIA.
No, you're gonna adore this. You're gonna adore this. So NVIDIA's done horrible things like the DDR4 instead of GDDR5 on the on the 1030 and stuff like that, right? This is really this one, you guys. Ooh, okay. So you have the RX you have the RX 570. It has 2048 CUDA cores. CUDA cores. Ooh, stream processors. Okay. Woo, stream processors. Okay.
That's impressive.
Whoa. Anyway, stream processors. Okay. Right. So, and then you have the RX 580 that has like 400 more or something like that, right? Well, this RX 580 is the RX 580 2048. It's literally a RX 570 branded as an RX 580. Oh,
What?
but it does have 40 megahertz higher clock speed.
So it's like a third-party...
It's literally an
570.
overclocked 570
It's a
with a 580 badge.
It's a third-party 570, but made by...
And I'm like, how do you manage that? Now, as far as I understand it, they are at least calling it something different. Its official name is at least the RX 580 2048. So at least it's easy for people to differentiate, right?
But most people don't know what that means.
Okay, true, but also, why? What benefit do you get? Like, I feel like AMD and NVIDIA both are just like, that'd be hilarious to release that. Just do it. You know, like, I feel like they don't have, like, they're just trolling the crap out of the whole PC market. Unless it's like, is it a test to see what they can get away with? I don't know, because... Like with the whole 1030 fiasco where it's like, well, you can save $10 and get half the performance. It has the same name. What? And now we're sitting here like, oh yeah, well, you know, you can buy the RX 580 or the RX 570. Well, what's the difference? Absolutely nothing. I don't understand. I got the car with the V8. Oh, yeah, I got the one with the V6. Oh, they're the same thing, dude. They're just 6 cylinders.
Yeah. So is Asus going to release a 570 that's clocked faster than their 580?
No, what AMD needs to do is they need to release an RX 570 with the same amount of cores as a 580. So it's just like hit or miss what you buy. Oh,
And then a 590 with half the cores of a 570.
Yeah, something like that, because that's ridiculous. So
AMD should actually sell all of their graphics cards for $100 and call it the Silicon Lottery.
Yeah, and it's just you might get a Vega 64, you might get an RX 550.
You might get a Navi top tier.
Who knows? Who knows? You never know. And you see what they do? They never announce new products. Yeah. They just release them into the random stuff. So like some person coincidentally gets a GPU.
And they occasionally release like old Radeon GPUs.
Yeah, they find one in the back warehouse. Lisa's old one that she had sitting in her garage. Like, oops.
And then they just randomly throw in.
So it's loot boxes for GPUs. Yes. You know what? You just gotta buy more.
Actually, I could see Nvidia doing that.
See, well, you've got to do it in a way where your chances of getting the high tier parts are really good if you spend like $1,200, and then you have a bunch of extra GPUs just laying around.
Yeah.
Miners.
I could see them doing that. Just like crank the dial.
Yeah. Exactly.
We need AMD to open a casino where you pull the lever.
And a GPU comes out.
No, not just GPUs. So you have a bunch of different icons that can get you different things. You don't always win either. But sometimes you'll get a processor. Sometimes that processor will be a 32 core. Sometimes it will be a 2 core.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll get a GPU.
And out of the blue, you'll get like Radeon branded RAM.
I mean, they had that.
They did have that. So anyway, that whole thing made me mad. So AMD, get your crap together. But also, please make your 7 nanometer stuff good because competition, please. Thank you.